We're all here to do what we're all here to do.
You ready? Yeah! True story.
Yep. Yeah.
True story. Woo!
You know it.
True story.
Cheer.
Woo!
You know it.
True story.
Greetings, I'm El Robinson.
And I'm Latif
Welcome to Real Talk.
2.0.
I know I took a little pause in that. Just excited about, how this is taking off. Hey, I'm gonna let you kick it off. What are we gonna talk about today?
We're talking about if two parties in a relationship should go half on everything. Should it be equal financially?
Wow. Wow. Well, what are your feelings on it before I jump in?
I mean, I think it all depends on the situation. It all depends on the situation because, of course, if, traditionally the male is the provider.
Right.
And the woman takes care of home. But if you're struggling, if you're a struggling family, it makes no sense to watch, as a woman, to watch your mate struggle to take care of everything when you could be working a part-time job, or if you have a certain level of education and you can go out there and gain employment, if it's going to help the family get ahead. Right.
Yeah.
Why not? And then once you had a certain amount saved, maybe you can
Go
back
to being a homemaker.
Right.
As they called it in the 20s all the way up until the 50s. I see, deep down in my core, I see the wisdom in that, especially if there's children involved, because it allows the woman to be a homemaker, to actually raise the children while the provider or the hunter-gatherer goes out there and works. However, let's fast forward past the 50s into the 60s, 70s, even the 80s. How do you define a homemaker now?
Right.
And I get it. Women should be taken care of. But you can't sit on the fence.
Right.
I really feel that women in this day and age cannot sit on the fence because, as I wrote in my book, I've had conversations with women that straight out tell me, I can't cook. I can't cook to save my life. That you walk into a homemaker's house and the house is a wreck. So, you're being a homemaker, what are you doing?
Right.
So, I think it should be, like you said, in certain situations, if the couple has decided, hey, listen, I'm going to go out there and work and you're going to be a homemaker, there's a certain responsibility level.
Right.
I should never have to come home from work and cook my own dinner.
Right.
I should never have to come home from work and clean.
Right.
And I think that's where the disconnect is. It's like chivalry isn't dead.
Right.
It really isn't dead. For
Right.
the most part, most males want to be the hunter-gatherer. It's in our nature.
Right.
But at the same time, if I got to be the hunter-gatherer and the homemaker, then I'm like, okay, my favorite term, return on investment. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Comment, let us know.
I agree. I guess I'm looking at it more as from an economic standpoint.
Right.
It's hard. You have electric bills, you have water bills, if you have a vehicle, or even if not a vehicle, you have to pay for transportation. Somehow, even if you are a homemaker, you're not just sitting in the house all the time.
Right, you gotta go shop. My grandmother was a homemaker.
Right.
All her life, she was a homemaker.
Right.
My grandmother, I don't think if she wanted to work, she would know how to. What do you mean? I know how to type, but I don't have to type a letter for you.
Right.
She was always a homemaker, from when my grandparents got married. but at the same time, you know, house always spotless.
Right.
You know, hell of a cook. She taught me how to cook. It's like I said, you're looking at rents in New York City for a studio apartment that start at $1,500.
Right.
Per month.
Right.
Not including electricity bills, cable, everything else, and like you said,
right.
transportation. So, I mean, in this day and age, in this economic climate, it's kind of impossible
right.
to, a loaf of bread, you know, how much is a loaf of Wonder Bread?
Right.
A small loaf is like $1.99.
Right.
So where is it? And I think people need to choose their battles.
Right. Yeah. And I don't want that battle. You know, like being broke. Yeah. I mean, like you said, like your grandmother. I mean, my maternal grandmother. She was a homemaker off and on.
Okay.
And she raised, 3 girls. 2 with disability, so she's in and out of the hospital.
Right.
All types of stuff. But I do remember, and this was after my grandfather passed away, her having jobs off and on, even though once he passed away, she was well taken care of.
Right.
But if the money is just making ends meet, or you may have just a little left over, if you want to live
comfortable
life, then you might have to work a little job. And from what I remember, even when my grandfather was alive, she worked. So it wasn't like she necessarily might have had to, but they also purchased the house without being in a mortgage for years and years. That house was paid off.
Right.
And I don't know who paid it off, and he more likely he.
But it was a team effort.
It was a team effort. It wasn't, So, and then some women, they have to feel like they have to work. I mean, I go through my off and on spurts where sometimes I want to be home. They'll say, okay, now I want to work.
Right.
Now I want to break. Now I want to, So it's like.
But you should have that option.
Right.
You should have that option. But like you brought up, it's like, okay, traditionally, again, we're looking at the Western European way of thinking, which usually says money.
Right.
Okay, but in our communities with our people, our brown-skinned people, it's kind of hard.
Right.
It's kind of hard to have someone that may not have a college education. That doesn't take away the fact that you love this person.
Right.
So why can't we be a team?
Right.
And you just help get ahead.
Right.
Why stay in the struggle unnecessarily?
Just because you're the man. I mean, and then also how do you sleep at night as seeing your man struggle? Maybe he's working 2 jobs. He's tired, and you're sleep.
You don't talk to me.
Yeah, cozy in the bed, seeing he's tired and worn out. And it's just like, oh well. He's doing what he's supposed to do, like how.
Well, I think that all changed. Like I said, there was a time period, like I said, from the turn of the 20th century on, that's how it was. The 1900s, that was a woman's job, was to take care of home. But like I said, even from an economic standpoint, you couldn't go back in time and interview a woman and they said, cook, what do you think they made Popeyes for? You know what I'm saying? And you're coming home after working 2 jobs, and it's like, you didn't bring nothing home? I'm too tired to cook. I've been watching kids all day. So, there was a difference back then. Nowadays, and plus, I think it's kind of wise for women because, again, relationships are kind of disposable these days.
Right.
They're kind of disposable these days. So you as a woman, and this is taking the woman's point of view, you as a woman in a relationship that you're trusting is going to last, okay, and you take on the role of a homemaker, and you may be awesome at it. But let's say you just decide that you're not his cup of tea anymore. Right. Where you at?
Right. Yep.
Where you at? No savings account, no bank account, no checking account, no nothing. Where you at? Now he's just come home because he's a hunter-gatherer and he just gathered another chick. Okay, so where does that leave you? It comes past, living traditionally. It's living smart.
Right.
It's living smart.
Yeah.
And just to highlight that point, there are situations where couple, committed relationship, they're in love. But maybe this woman is a quantum physicist and she brings home $200K a year.
Right.
You know, the house is paid for. Does that take away from the male that says, hey, listen,
right,
you got this. I'm going to let you focus on what it is that you do, and I'm going to take care of home.
right.
You know,
Right.
that's not traditional.
Right, it's not.
But it works.
But they're doing what they have to do. And also, as a female, I mean, I'm kind of leery because do I really want, I mean, this is very far from traditional, but do I really want a man that is saying, okay, you don't work, you take care of everything. I'm at home, I'll work, I'll bring in all the money, but now I'm dependent on you for money. I'm dependent on you for everything. And it's kind of like,
that worked in the 50s.
I'm gonna say, but some men would take that as a control factor.
True.
So it's like, I bought the car, we
Right.
did a disagreement, give me the keys back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he wants to go out, you know, of course, if he works, if he's the type that still goes out on the weekend, you're just sitting in the house because he ironically forgot to give you money for you to do something for me.
And this
So
happens.
It happens.
Yeah, and be careful. I mean, and I see this on timelines where women put up these great posts. I'm supposed to be treasured in a way. I'm a queen and I'm supposed to be treated like a queen. I should just be able to sit home and you should take care of me. Realistically, that worked in the 50s. It also worked in tribes in Africa because there was no money involved. Dude went out and hunted.
Right.
You know,
Right.
he brought home that deer, that buffalo, that whatever he killed that day to make sure that his family got to eat. So I understand the concept. But nowadays,
Right.
you know, when you're looking at rents that are through the roof, you're looking at mortgages that are through the roof, where people are struggling to be in the house. And how do you, as a couple, enjoy life?
Right.
Somebody is out there working 3 jobs.
Right. And then he passes away at the age of 50 because, and you know.
Now you go find somebody else to take care of you.
And they're like, darn, I done killed this man. You know?
Right, right.
I mean, and also, like, look at traditional careers where women do them. Nurses and teachers.
Right.
If it was meant for men to be the breadwinner and women to stay at home, why is there still so many male nurses and male? I mean, why is there so many female nurses still and female teachers? Yeah, there are male nurses and male teachers, but what I'm saying is, if it was meant to be like that, then it would be just.
Well, the job market historically changed during World War II because all the men were off fighting, and to a certain extent during the Vietnamese War, and most recently Desert Storm. What happened was, I don't know, I served in the military, and unless you're an E4 or above, or E5 or above, you're not really making that much money. Yes, you get battle pay, you get a bunch of stuff added onto your check, and yes, you're fighting a war, so there's no money basically for you to spend. But, you know, it's not really enough to send home. So what happened was the job market opened up. And we learned about the factory jobs during World War II. You know, during the Vietnamese conflict, especially in our communities, because it was mostly us over there fighting that war, you know, women had to go out into the job market.
Right.
You know, and I'll tell you a story really brief. There's a shopping district on 14th Street in New York City. It's a clothing shopping district. And all through the 80s, through most of the 80s, it was primarily males. So you could go down there and get clothes. My mom used to, I used to go shopping down there. But, you know, we would take my brother shopping down there. And, you know, good prices, but mostly males. Flash forward into the 90s. There's like 3 male shops because now the workforce in New York City is primarily women.
Wow.
So they had to switch gears and accommodate and plus men don't spend money, but you know, they had to accommodate the market. You know, so if you go to 14th Street now, to this day, it's basically a whole bunch of women's shops, hair care shops, and jewelry shops all geared towards women.
Right.
You know, so that kind of tells you women need to work. And plus, and with our people, women are less threatening in the job place.
Yeah.
It's hard for our brown, I'm just going to say brown males, to get gainful employment with the hopes of climbing through the ranks. You know, it's really hard. So do you just sit back and let your man do 3 factory jobs?
Right. Yeah.
You know, yeah, people do get ahead that way, but like you said, they end up in the grave. They end up in the grave.
Right.
I know, I talk too much. But what do you all have to say? Let us know. Let us know. I think this is an awesome episode. High five, bow. Bow. I'm just waiting for the comments to flood in.
Yeah.
So, but hey, listen, I don't want to keep on too long. I am L. Robinson.
And I'm Latif.
And this is Real Talk
2.0.
Love you guys.